Hello and welcome to the Michael Mama Show, Ancient Secrets Revealed. Coming to you from Mount Sonia, home of the Sri Sarkar Temple in the mountains of western North Carolina. Beautiful spring day. So today, this is an important subject, and I think I honestly one that a lot of people don't really understand, but I'm calling it the knowledge paradox. Where's the paradox come from? Well, we have to talk about the consciousness continuum. Existence, life has different levels. There's superficial physical level, then more subtle electromagnetic level, all the way down to the transcendental level, that feel of oneness, that feel of pure isness, that feel of pure consciousness. That's the source of everything. And it's a continuum. But our conscious awareness also resides in functions on all those different levels. So we have very superficial thoughts, we have more refined subtle thoughts, we have superficial emotions and more refined emotions, and then we have that deep subtle existence that we can be awake to, transcendental consciousness, where we are awake to that transcendental level, the source of everything. Now, all of those levels are accessible to every individual. And no matter what we're functioning on, we can have some sense of all the other levels, the continuum, all interconnected. And so this is into an interesting arena when we talk about spirituality. Because what is spirituality really? Spirituality it's nothing really more than human health. It's when the integration, when the interconnectedness of all those different levels of existence, levels of awareness are functioning together harmoniously. But no matter who we are, we have some sense, even the very deepest level. It's the source of life. Without that source, it's like, unplugging the wall fan, the fan will stop spinning. It's the source of life for the fan. And so when we're focusing on a typical daily level in the world today, we're usually typing thoughts and notions and ideas, and maybe we're busy in our business or thinking about this or thinking about that. I heard it there. Average human being has 60,000 thoughts a day. Now the mind is busy. And then they must be like a monkey jumping from tree to tree. So when we enter the arena of spirituality, start seeing spirituality, we hear, for example, the one. And people can understand that. Even on the intellectual level, there's some notion of that deeper level. But even though above that, we all have some sense of it. Some would call it transcendence, some would call it divinity, some would call it their own inner being, some would call it their sense of universality, universal nature. People have different names for it, but nevertheless, we're all sensing that one thing. And that includes a sense of our own being, our own essence, our own life. And that's true even of animals, even of earth forms. There's something protected there, there's something precious there. They take care of their own life. And so now the idea of spirituality, and this is critical now, here's the point, is that if we read a book about spirituality, parts of the Veda, have you, we're going to pick up on whatever level we are functioning at within the reality, within the consciousness continuum. And not only that thoughts and some emotions, but it points in the direction that we put inside that we can sense. And so when we hear profound spiritual knowledge and we pick it up on a superficial level, is there, there's an echo there, Scotty. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
I wonder how I can try this. Scotty?
Yes.
Can you hear me fine?
I can hear you, but there's a distortion or something. Yeah.
What? No, I want to know when I turn the volume down, it's just turning down the volume of the echo, or it's turning my volume down. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is my volume too low?
No, that's better.
All right, so that's what it is. So I'm just going to leave it this setting and assume that it's recording my voice.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's way better.
All right, so we're good to go. So when we think about spiritual concepts, we connect it with some level of sensitivity, some level of wakefulness, some degree of alertness to that deeper level. And so it's very easy for us to say, oh, yeah, I get that. Oh, yeah, I know that. Oh, yeah. And the more we read about spirituality, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. And I can feel it in my bones, you know? And so where that commonly leads, I have to say particularly, if I may say so, particularly in the West, it seems. I think in India, particularly, a lot of these concepts were known from childhood, and they need to have a more sophisticated understanding of what I'm talking about there. But in the West, you hear it, oh yeah, I get that, I get that. And so what happens? They think that I'm like, oh yeah, I get it, I know all that, I know spirituality, I understand all that. I'm enlightened, you know, they say. And that's why so many people, you know, they think they're gurus, they think they're bodhisattvas, they think they're this, they think they're that. So what they're experiencing is a function on a super level sense of that deeper value. And it can become very emotional. Oh my God, that's so incredible. I've been looking for this my whole life. Because that's the nature of life, to gravitate back to oneness. That's what evolution is. And so when they get some sense of it, it's just like a eureka. It's an epiphany. It's an enlightenment, you know? But as the physiology, and it's a physiological thing, as the physiology defines, as we cultivate, then our sense of it ceases to be okay, we're up here on the surface. We can have some sense of that, and we get it. But then our understanding refines, and we get it on a deeper level. But if a person on this level tries to explain it to a person on that level, the person on that level will say, "Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about." It's a knowledge paradox. It's an eternal contradiction. I call it the I get it syndrome. But really, and this is very interesting, you can't derive the absolute from these more superficial levels, from the relative, you could say. Can't be done. Why? Because it's more subtle. It's more subtle in the level that one is really capable of functioning on. And so how can you derive something more refined from something less refined? It's like it's out of focus. That's it. You have a general sense. You can even go into the syndrome. It's not really. And there are all different stages of, we could call them awakenings along the way. I think a typical awakening, or I think a lot of us, when we're in elementary school, first grade, they teach us 2 plus 2 equals 4. And all of a sudden you get an addition. Wow, that's like it. It's an awakening. There are all kinds of awakenings. We have them every day, awakening. When we're functioning at a superficial level of our consciousness, and we read a spiritual book and we say, wow, I get it, okay, that's an awakening. But it's not the ultimate awakening. The ultimate awakening, that's so-called enlightenment, is when the consciousness comes fully, not an actual echo, what we call them echoes, the truth received as truthful, truthful day, and not as echoes, but as a direct living experience, the totality of that body. We sense it on all different levels of consciousness, but we don't really fully awaken to it until that's called enlightenment, you know. But we can go deeper than this. Because here's the thing, the natural, it's like trees. Tree grows up to their home base, parallel to the absolute. And then the trunk grows, the branches grow, and a kernel form. And what happens is eventually they return to the earth. That's a cycle. It exists everywhere in nature. A raindrop falls from the sky, from the top of the mountain, works its way down the river, down the stream, finally gets back to the ocean of the totality, and then the cycle goes again. So everything's gravitating back to that ocean oneness. It's just the nature of the system. It's physics. So you can't derive the absolute from the relative, but the awareness naturally gravitates to that if we just let it happen. And there's this principle of Tarbate. You know, so Tarbate, that was that Tarbate. It's an old movie from when I was a little kid. But anyway, there was this Tarbate. And oh yeah, the rabbit would be in the briar field or whatever. You try to push the Tarbate away. But the more you push, you get stuck to the Tarbate. And you push again, and you just get all kinds of up in the Tarbate. The Tarbate for humanity is largely thoughts and superficial emotions. Superficial emotions can be intense, they can be powerful, they can get all wrapped up with our love for things and passions in so many different ways. But we get all caught up. But if you try to push them away, that doesn't work. It's not the way to go. You just get even more stuff. If you push it away, it's longer. You're not supposed to really push it away. But in proper meditation, you allow those thoughts, those feelings that come up to be there, but you rest back onto the self. What is the self in this highest sense of the word? that transcends. So in meditation, we have our thoughts, we just allow them to up on the self that comes from up, just the thoughts, we try to push them out like everything. We just push it anyway, and naturally the whole thing flows back to the ocean of oneness. And that's the key. The key is to try to derive divinity. The key is to say, okay, if I behave like this, if I think like this, if I act like that, if I believe this, if I know this, oh, that makes sense, and that's it. And, you know. They talk about letting go and letting fly, but the problem with that even is, okay, I get it. It's another idea. Oh, yeah, I get it. I'm just going to let go. Look at it. That's what we're talking about. That's a concept. It's an attitude. It's a belief system. We're talking about physiological state of allowing physiology to function on all these different levels of thoughts, but still seamlessly interconnected, fully interconnected, fully based in the absolute, not notions of the absolute, however beautiful and however profound and exquisite they may be. You can't derive the absolute from the relative. But the beauty is of the human physiology, just like everything else in nature, is gravitating back in the direction. But what makes the human being unique in our world is that it has the ability to transcend. Sit down, do proper meditation, we call proper meditation, is very meditation. And the awareness just rests back down into the absolute. And then you go back into activity, but that experience, liken it to the dying cloth. You take a cloth in India, the cloth, they strip it in the dye and hold it to the sun. You know, you meditate, you take a pledge into the absolute, and you go back into the day, the cloth fades, but it remains fast, won't wash out. That's a meditation. And you go back and you meditate, and then you go back in activity. More color remains until back and forth, meditating enough times. And it's right there, the time. And it comes on pleasure. It comes about eventually. But all of a sudden, there's a moment of phase transition. Like when the water gets into ice, it becomes something completely different. It's still H2O. So there's that expression that your greatest opponent is yourself. It's really interesting. Because what they well, the self, you find it's just that deepest level of being, absolute, that's the self. But there's also the self that we tend to identify with if we're functioning on more superficial levels. I am my thoughts, I am my emotions, I am my feelings. I remember I said much about this much on I said, well, I'm talking about levels beyond thoughts and beyond emotions. Somebody put it up and said, well, what else is there? That to me was sad. You know? I don't think what else is the grandeur quality. So the self can be our greatest opponent if we're talking about the superficial stuff that we connect to and hang on to. And then we get caught up in the thoughts. So we think this and then we think that. And this is just one example. And then we think this and then we think that. And it becomes a war of emotions and what do I believe and what do I think? I don't even know who I am. Blah, 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 blah. Or it can be a relationship with other people. Oh, this person's good and oh, this person's bad. And you know, like this. No, I don't want that. And we get caught up in, you know, what food is good for me, what food is bad for me. I learned not to talk too much about diet and nutrition because everybody has opinions on it and all that, and they all contradict. You know, you see, when we're awake at these levels, we attain a level that is infinitely solid, just like Mother Earth. The trunk of the tree is rooted in Mother Earth, infinitely solid. Solid. But yet, the tree also infinitely flexible. The least little breeze and the leaves dance in the wind. So there's an integration between infinite solidity and infinite flexibility, infinite rigidity, infinite flexibility. And this even applies in the arena of what we can define, for example, morality. In the superficial level, the intellect can justify this, can justify that. On the level, like you can justify anything. And people can. And they create belief systems that they cling to, and then round and around there's really the world. But if you're not lost in all these thoughts and emotions, or passions, or beliefs, or traditions, or indoctrination, then there's a level at the depth of your being that lies, that is one with nature, Mother Nature, and it's a solidity in the depth of your soul, deeper than the soul, if you will, depending on the definition of soul. Okay. So we can say it's the depth of your soul. And then you have attained a level of great discernment. Shall I go this way? Should I go that way? Should I do this? Or should I do that? Well, as long as you're rooted in the absolute, there's tremendous flexibility. But without that being established in your own self, you're just blown in the wind with your emotions or function of your friends and your studies and your identities. It's not really rooted at that level that is infinitely fixed, but infinitely flexible. It's a paradox. You can get this intellectual, but imagine living as a state of physiology. Not because you're indoctrinating yourself and the influence flexible and individual. It's a physiological reality. You're established in absolute. They call it enlightenment, you know. So I think that's about it. Scotty, is there anything else you can add?
No, that was great.
Okay, that'll do. Thanks everybody for listening. And I'm gonna have some fun this morning. Half an hour. I've talked to you. There's stuff in elementary schools, or colleges, or high schools, all different levels. We'll come to this. Somebody has to be able to talk, and I always enjoy it. And so half an hour from now, I'll be doing that. And it'll be fine. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again.